Now, how deep into the conversation do you think we are at this point?
Not very.
Depending on how long they talked,
Yep.
we're somewhere between 30 seconds and a minute to a minute and a half into the conversation. This stuff happens really, really fast. Now, if they talk for 10 minutes, then we're 10 minutes into the conversation. But that's okay. Because they're talking about their hot topics, because you've set the agenda, and you've got them talking about the right things. So we're not that far into the conversation, yet we're controlling it. Now we're going to establishing context. And this is a really, really critical part of planning. Establishing context is kind of a blend of a promotional message about tech data and establishing the framework for the kinds of questions you're going to ask so you can provide the greatest value to the customer. It's a combination commercial setting a basis and a context for the kinds of questions that are about to follow. It's kind of a tricky thing to do because it's not just a commercial. It's a commercial in the context of why you care. And it establishes a basis that says, in order for me to provide this kind of value for you, I need to ask you some questions to better understand you, your business, and your perspective. And then I can better determine how I can make the connection between the value we deliver in general to the value we can deliver to you specifically. So this part we all have to practice. How do we write our message in a way that we're comfortable delivering it? If it's okay, I'd like to share with you a little more about our company and how we provide value to our customers. But in the context, I'm going to ask you some questions to help me better relate how I can provide value to you and your organization to incorporate your unique needs, your nuances, the differences that you as an organization value, and how you provide value to your customer base. Now we're going to move on to the next portion. So asking some general questions. So now I've set up the context to ask you questions. Now I'm going to ask you some questions. As I told you, I'm going to ask you questions. So I'm going to be prepared with a couple of opening general questions. So everybody's going to have a couple in their bag. They're going to say, okay, here's one way to open the conversation. For instance, based on my research, I know a little bit about what you do, but would you mind sharing with me your perspective on your business, your department, and how it operates? Just a general, open question that they give you their perspective. Another one, what is it about your company that makes you unique in your marketplace that differentiates you from your competition? So a couple of open-ended general questions that begin the dialogue and give you some context for the rest of the questions. Because a lot of times if you've got a good couple of general open questions, people can give you an awful lot of information that you never have to actually ask the questions for. And that's the intent of good questioning, is to get answers before you ever ask the questions. And then once you've done this, you're going to have a specific plan to ask what we call goods questions. And those are questions geared around critical things that you need to know to provide value to that customer. And GOOD stands for goals, customers' objectives, customers' obstacles, issues, or challenges, desires, needs, and wants, and success metrics, how they determine that they have a successful relationship with a vendor. And so around that, you can create very specific questions that allow you to better position your company. We're going to spend a lot more time on this piece, but this is where we kick off the goods discussion. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to have everybody break up into teams and actually create their own custom ice breaks using their personality, their language, but they're going to kind of follow a similar format so they can follow through with this whole thing.